So now we're looking at converting standard form back into ordinary form. And the big trick for this one is making sure that we recognize whether to move the decimal to the right or to the left. In other words, whether we're going to make a big number or a small number. Where again a big number would be something more than 1, and a small number would be something less than 1, like 0.00012 or something. So what we're going to do is move the decimal place the same number of places as the power that's been told to us. So in this case, the power here is 4. So we're going to move the decimal place 4 spots. And we have to think about it. Are we going to move it to the left, or are we going to move it to the right? So if the power is positive, it's going to be a big number, more than 1. So we move it to the right if the power is positive. So here I'm going to move it to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. And I make these loops because after each of those loops, you'll notice if there's no number there, we can actually fill in with a 0. So in this case, 2.45, moving it over 4 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 2 zeros to fill in the number there, so it becomes 24500, or 24,500. Okay, the next example. Here I see that I have a negative power, and so I need to be thinking negative power, little number, I'm going to move it to the left instead. So here, my decimal is after the 7, and I need to move it 3 spots to make it a little number. So I need to move it 1, 2, 3 spots. And again, I can backfill in with zeros to make sure that I get the correct number of places. So I'd write this answer as 0 point, the 2 zeros that I had to fill in, and 712. So 0.00712. So positive number becomes big, I move it to the right. Negative number becomes little, I move it to the left. And here's an example, 9.003 times 10 to the power of 1. So here the power again is positive, and it's just 1. Positive, so I'm thinking big number, and I need to move it 1 spot. And there I've moved it 1 spot. I get 90.03. And I don't need to add in any zeros because there's numbers above all those loops, so it's filling itself in already. With the last example here, 4.82 times 10 to the negative 6. Again, I see a negative power here, so I'm thinking little number. I need to move it to the left and make it something like 0.000. So I'm going to rewrite this as 4.82, and I'm going to move it 6 spots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Draw in my decimal, and I can fill in with zeros. A 0 in front of the decimal, and a 0 above each of those empty spots, and then the 4, 8, and 2. So that becomes 0.1234 zeros, oops, 5 zeros, and 4, 8, 2. So a very small number. Again, we saw a negative power gave us a very small number. So keep that in mind. Positive powers, big numbers. Negative powers, little numbers.